Hello, my dear friends. Today we're going to take a closer look at something that's already changing the game on the battlefield. Ukraine's combat reconnaissance system Bulava. Now, this is not just some fancy toy or another drone with a cool name. This is something that came out of real need from the realities that our guys are facing at the front every single day. You see, the idea for the Bulava didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It came as a direct response to the threat that we have all seen, the Russian Lancet drones. Those things have been a real pain, but we figure out how to fight back. That's where Bulava comes in. It's our loitering munition designed to do exactly what the Russian Lancet does, but much better. It's light, it's precise, and it's built to take out high-value Russian targets, whether that's enemy vehicle, artillery, air defense, or even their command posts. And most importantly, it gives us another tool to protect Ukrainian people and hit the Russian terrorists back where it hurts. So in this video I will talk you through what Bulava is, how it works, and why it became such an important part of our defense. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the threat that made Bulava necessary in the first place, which is the Russian Lancet drone. The first time our guys faced it became clear right away. The Russian terrorists have designed an extremely dangerous weapon. It's got a wingspan of about a meter, can stay in the air for around 30 to 40 minutes, and can be used for both reconnaissance and strike missions. Russian Lancet has a maximum range of 40 kilometers and a maximum takeoff weight of up to 12 kilograms or about 26 pounds. The Lancet can be equipped with various warheads, including high explosive fragmentation or shaped charges. The Terror Russian drones carries a warhead that's big enough to destroy artillery, vehicles, and even air defense systems, and the invaders can launch these things in swarms. What makes it even trickier is that it's really hard to detect and even harder to shoot down. By the time you hear it or see, usually it's already diving. And this threat forced our defenders to eventually change tactics, to think differently about how to protect themselves. But as always, we adapt, and that's where Bulava comes in. In the next segment, I'm going to break down how the idea for Bulava was born and how our engineers and soldiers worked together to create something that could take the fight back to the enemy. So stay tuned, because this is where it gets interesting. Alright, let's talk about how the Bulava actually came to life, because this is the kind of story that shows what Ukrainians are really about. The idea for Bulava came from the field. The very idea was simple. We need our own loitering munition, something that can do what the Lancet does, but on our terms. It had to be cheap, quick to produce, of course, easy to launch, and deadly. And most importantly, it had to help level the playing field, because let's be honest, Russia throws insane amount of money and resource into their drones. We don't have that luxury, but what we do have is people who are smart, creative, and know how to get things done. So the engineers worked hand in hand with the military. The soldiers told them what they were up against, where the gaps were, what they needed, and the engineers listened, tested, changed designs, tested again, and eventually they came up with a compact drone that was easy to carry, easy to deploy, with enough range and endurance to perform reconnaissance operations and also take out important Russian targets, including electronic warfare systems, air defense platforms such as Buk M and Tor, and other moving and stationary targets. How effective is new Ukrainian loitering munition, and does it outperform Russian Lancet? Let's break it down, because this thing isn't just talk. Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's vice prime minister and head of digital transformation, put it bluntly, until recently the Russian Lancet dominated the skies, he said. Today it is being replaced by solutions from the Brave One Defense Innovation Cluster. The strike reconnaissance system Bulava from the Viro is already performing combat missions and surpasses the Lancet in key indicators. And that's not hype, my dear friends, that's strategic tech speaking fact. Now let's talk specifications. The Bulava actually packs a punch, a wingspan of about 1.6 meters and about 1.5 meters long. At roughly 11 kilograms in takeoff weight, it carries a 3.6 kilogram warhead, often thermobaric, capable of dropping priority targets in a single strike. Bulava cruises at around 100 km per hour and stays in the air nearly 50 minutes, making it tougher to detect and easier to hit deep Russian targets. As General Budanov likes to say, deeper and deeper. But here's where it beats the Lancet for real. Its machine vision targeting, automated enemy spoofing detection, and high resistance to jamming means it locks on even under heavy enemy electronic warfare. And the big kicker, it streams real-time video confirmation, so Ukrainian commanders know that they have scored the hit. Official Ukrainian sources and Fedorov himself have shared footage showing Bulava striking electronic warfare systems, also Buk-M and Tor air defense batteries, artillery positions, and mobile targets, all within enemy rear areas. All that footage confirms that Bulava can deliver a real impact. By comparison, the Lancet may have been first mover, but Bulava doesn't just match it, it outperforms it. The minister says that this drone includes a range of unique capabilities that remain classified for security reasons, but what makes it extremely good is that Bulava is much faster to build, cheaper to run, smarter in the skies, and tougher to jam. This drone uses a mix of secure communication channels and autonomous targeting. What does it mean in plain language? Even if the enemy tries to jam it, Bulava can still find its target and hit it. That's huge. A drone that doesn't just panic or drop out of the sky the moment it hits a jamming field. Now, another thing that's really impressive is how it's built using a lot of locally sourced components and off-the-shelf parts, and that might not sound exciting, but it means that we can produce them fast and at scale, no waiting for some rare parts from half across the world, from China, for example, to arrive to Ukraine. And in a war like this, speed of production is almost as important as what the drone can actually do in the air, because you want to be able to replace what you lose and keep the pressure on. Also, the Bulava is modular. This means that the warhead can be swapped out depending on the mission. For example, you need to hit infantry in cover, there's a thermobaric option. Going after a piece of armor or artillery or a tank, swap in the shaped charge. That kind of flexibility gives our commanders way more options and lets the same basic airframe take on different roles. And here's something that gets overlooked. Bulava is already being improved, my friends. The teams behind it aren't just sitting back now that it works. They're gathering feedback from the field and making it better, smarter, deadlier with every batch. That's how you stay ahead in a fight like this. So, my dear friends, there you have it, the Bulava, a drone that was basically born out of pure Ukrainian stubbornness. The Russians rolled out their Lancets, and we built something smarter, faster, and tougher in record time, using parts you could probably find in a hardware store if you knew where to look. So yeah, Bulava is not just another drone, it's a proof that no matter what the Russian terrorists throw at us, we're gonna find a way to head back, and trust me, we are only getting started. My dear friends, please let me know if you like this one, also like, subscribe, or don't, I'm not your officer, but stay tuned because there's more to come. I'm Operator Starsky, thanks for watching.